Right. Also from Josh Booker of Michigan, is there such a thing as too little calling? And do you have any tips for a Michigan turkey hunting beginner?
I'd say the only calling that would be too little would be not to call at all. Um, it can be pretty passive. I mean, like we've talked about before, these birds, once they hear you, they know where you are. They don't need you to call repeatedly to tell them where you are. So if your objective is simply, hey, buddy, I'm over here, come check me out, a few scant calls are really all you need as long as he hears you. So I've always worried about calling too much, and I'm guilty of it because I'm kind of I don't know. I don't lack patience. The irony is I can sit for days waiting on something to happen, but when I get to talking turkey, I'm like, damn it, come over here right now. I said to come over here, and you're not here, and I want to know where you are. So I would say don't worry about calling too little as long as you let the bird know you're there and that you're ready to roll. My advice for beginners would be it doesn't matter where you live, it doesn't matter anything about your background, be patient. Get outside as much as you can. If you have a question, go sit in the woods. Sit there as long as you're willing to sit, soak up everything around you, pay attention to what the birds, pay attention to how they behave when they leave the roost, try to figure out ways to get where they want to be, but don't get discouraged, don't get frustrated. Just keep plugging and get outside as much as you possibly can. The more you're out there, the more you're going to learn, and just don't quit. Just keep plugging.
Yeah, that's the best advice. I have a lot of friends that locally that are interested in getting into hunting and haven't hunted before, and they're always asking me, specific questions. Like with social media, it's like, tell me about south facing slopes for deer hunting. I'm like, man, go find out. Is what I want to say to all of my friends. I'm always like, the best thing you could do is get out there and sit, get out there and walk, go find out. You got a question, go find out. The best way is just to go out and get started and expect failure a little bit, because that's the way life works. It's not a big deal. Yeah. Yeah.
I also think too is, my advice I give to people too is surround yourself with people that have been successful at that sport. As far as I was getting into turkey hunting back in high school, didn't start at a young age because my dad could give a shit about turkey hunting. It was all deer hunting. But as you got to know people and figured out, okay, who's successful at this, and then just kind of whether you went with them and just sat there and watched what was going on. But I think that's a big part of getting into it, for one, and then two, being successful right off the bat is surrounding yourself with people that are successful at it and do know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah,
I agree.
for sure.
I agree. If you can find a mentor that is willing to let you tag along and watch how they do things, when they move, when they don't move, what type of calls they use, how often, where do they set up, where do they point their gun. I mean, just pay attention to every little detail and soak it up. And if you can do that, you can learn from somebody that's experienced, and then you just got to get out there and give it a try. I get questions all the time. My son he just tickles me. He's like, hey, it's just like one of you just says, like, oh, the wind's blowing from the southeast. I wonder if this stand's any good. Well, can you get to the stand without blowing up the deer that are bedded there? Yeah. Then just go. Just go get in the damn stand and just figure out if it's good or bad, and if it sucks, what's the worst that can happen? You spend an afternoon in a deer stand. Just go give it a shot.
Hell yes.
Josh, I just wanted to add on the calling side of things with the with calling too little. I usually don't call a lot, but the only time I will get aggressive on a bird is if I strike him up and he's hot off the gate. I'll usually feed into that and get him hot, and then I'll just drop the floor out underneath him and go completely silent on him and play hard to get on him, because then 9 times out of 10 it drives them absolutely freaking nuts. If you wait, if you hit them with calls for 3 to 5 minutes and then just shut up for 10 to 15, after a while they're going to just start answering just because they want to know where the hell you are.
I
And that's
agree.
that's after you've hooked them with the initial calling.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, you get them going, you feed them, and then you just shut right the hell up.
Hmm.
A lot of times
Yeah.
they'll come into anything you throw at them after that.
If you keep calling, I've had this issue where they just get hung up. They won't come any further because they know you're still there and you're calling. But if you don't call, they're gonna get suspicious.
Yeah,
I've even gotten up and walked off.
Yeah.
I've done that. I've done that a number of times. Just get up and walk off,
Yeah.
and then call from 100 yards farther away or whatever, and like he's saying, and just shut up. And man, it's so hard to just sit there and not call and act like, hey, where are you at? It's like, hey, I want you to come over here, but they already know where you are.
Yeah.
So if you just could shut up, like he was saying, a lot of times they just can't stand it. They got to come check it out.